part by Pepsi. Pepsi's a proud sponsor of the Surrey Glaciers and Rogers Community 4 television coverage. Have fun, stay young, drink Pepsi. From the people who helped generate this exceptional facility, Alnor Services is a proud sponsor of the Surrey Glaciers baseball team. Alnor has been successfully handling all your heavy equipment needs for 25 years, specializing in commercial site preparation, excavation, underground services, clearing, demolition, sports fields, and topsoil sales. For more information, call 531-5935, Monday through Friday. And today's television coverage was also sponsored by All Sport Body Quencher, proud to support the Surrey Glaciers and community television.
We're at the Stetson Bowl in Surrey, BC. The Surrey Glaciers and Rogers 4 Sports presents Western Baseball League action. Tonight's game features the Sonoma County Crushers taking on the Surrey Glaciers. A present
River, her ball into the area, looking for Carla Gale. Oh, what a great goal. On the plate, he's in on the net. He shoots, another save, another shot. Oh! And the whistle blows, and there's no goal.
Nettles wins the championship for 89 in their first ever appearance in the final. They go away.
Serving the communities of Surrey, Langley, and New Westminster. This is Rogers Community 4. We're coming at you from on top of the press box here at the Stetson Bowl in Surrey, British Columbia to bring you great Surrey Glaciers baseball action. They're taking on the Sonoma County Crushers this evening. I'm Bill Curry along with my colleague here, Chris Uren. And the city of Surrey has really taken this team to heart so far this season. They're on their first ever homestand, about halfway through, and they're already have a record of 3-2 so far on this homestand. They're only 2 games out of first place in the Northern Division against the division-leading Bend Bandits. And Chris, it took a long time for baseball to actually make its way to Surrey, but it's finally here.
Well, Surrey certainly with a proud baseball heritage, no question about that. And you look at the Surrey team, they've turned the Stetson Bowl into a beautiful minor league facility here in Surrey, and the team with 3,300 fans out on opening night, it's just been great to see.
About a week ago, if you were here, it would have taken a lot of imagination to think of a rodeo facility as a minor league baseball field, but they've done it here tonight in Cloverdale. And we're going to go down now to Steve Erickson down on the concourse.
Thanks, guys. Yes, that's absolutely true. A week ago, even sooner than that, who would have ever expected this place to be a good minor league baseball location? I, for one, was a little bit skeptical. My role tonight, I'm going to go around, I'm going to talk to a lot of people in the stands, several of the different players. They can enlighten us as to what their outlook is on the league and how everything is progressing so far. But yes, we were at the opening ceremonies here at the Stetson Bowl in Cloverdale to cover the opening ceremonies and discuss this facility with several different celebrities. So let's go to that opening ceremonies feature right now. A month ago, the Stetson Bowl looked very different as construction crews worked as hard as possible to be ready for opening night. And ready they were as approximately 3,000 people showed up for opening night and the first professional baseball game in Surrey. The team, which is hoping to appeal to families in the area, had a good mix of interest as both young and old turn out to take in the game. The anxious crowd watched their team warm up before the opening ceremonies, which saw dignitaries and celebrities from all over turn out for this event. much to the enjoyment of Surrey Glacier's general manager, Stu Kehoe. Events got underway with Mayor Bob Bowes throwing out the opening pitch to the Western Baseball League president and founder, Bruce Engels.
I was a founding owner in the Northern League in 1993 and decided that this ought to go out here on the West Coast. I'm from Portland, and so I began 2 years ago, January, to form this league, and I've been working on it ever since.
And you've had 8 teams involved from the outset. Did you think you would have more or less?
No, 8 was our target, but we talked to, I think, 26 cities before we finally got to the 8.
Opening ceremonies continued with Vancouver actor and singer Jim Burns singing the national anthems.
The reason I'm here is because of Stu and Dick.
Tell us about the Christmas dinner.
Yeah, well, we had over the Christmas holidays. I had lunch with Tommy Wolski and me, and we had this kind of club of guys, and they said that they had scored the facility and it was going to happen, and that they would be open on the 6th of June, 1995. They'd have opening day, and they said, "You're going to be there?" I said, "You bet I'll be there." So anyway, a couple days ago, I realized, holy cow, it's going to be the 6th of June. So here I am, and came out to the anthems, and it's great to be here. I mean, they're good friends, and what I really want to do, I wanted to see Dick in a baseball uniform again.
After 15 games on the road, team manager Dick Phillips was glad to be home and playing for the home team fans. And although he's been with the players for close to a month, he still needed his notes to keep things straight for the opening ceremonies.
I honestly know every member of my team, but I don't know their numbers, and that's why I got this sheet up here to introduce them.
After the player introductions, it was play ball. They'll fare going against the Vancouver Canadians?
Well, I think because being out here on this side of the bridge, it's a whole other crew you got. You have a lot of people. I think there's such a family orientation out here. So many people with families that you don't have to drive into town. You don't have to look for the park. You can stay here. And also, I think once we get established, the weather gets good, and you get some people out here, and people start hearing about it. You're going to get people from Abbotsford and Mission and even Chilliwack, and it's going to be like the Valley. Everybody from the Valley is going to be able to come here and kind of come in on. I think it's going to be great, and I think it'll be good competition for the Canadians, and it will make more baseball fans, and so the Canadians will have more fans, and the Glaciers will have more fans, and we'll all have more fun.
Although our team came out on the losing end of their home opener, everyone was thoroughly entertained and impressed by the caliber of ball. It looks like Stu Kehoe, the Glaciers, and the city of Surrey have a winner on their hands.
Good luck, Stu. Just looks wonderful. It's absolutely fabulous.
Thank you.
I'm so pleased with it.
Well, not so large a crowd tonight as there was on opening night, but there are some overcast skies tonight and the threat of rain, so perhaps that's keeping a few of the Surrey faithful away tonight. Kyle Washington, he's a guy who's been burning up double-A ball the past 2 seasons. He had a serious knee injury though last season, had a cartilage operation, and a lot of teams gave up on him, but he found his way into this Western Baseball League, and he's been smoking the ball. He's the second top hitter in the league so far, and he has 6 home runs on the year.
And going to the mound tonight for Sonoma County is Ken Hocuff. Hocuff, a 26-year-old right-hander who played his college ball at Cal State Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton, the College World Series champions of 1995.
Well, we're expecting a great game from the Sonoma County Crushers tonight. And before tonight's game, Steve Erickson had a chance to talk with Sonoma County's manager, Paul Deese.
Paul Dees, general manager for the Sonoma County Crushers. Another road trip for you. Of course, tonight we've got the weather going in our favor. What do you have to do to overtake the Glaciers again?
Well, I don't know. We really don't think so much about the teams we play as much as we work on our own game. And it doesn't really matter whether you're home or away. You still have to do certain things to win baseball games, and we focus more on that than who we're playing.
Now, explain to our viewing public, where exactly do you play out of?
Well, we're in Sonoma County, which is throughout the world is known as the wine country, and it's north of San Francisco, and it's up near Santa Rosa, which is largest city between San Francisco and Portland. But it's what they call down there the North Bay. It's north of San Francisco.
How would you compare your stadium at home to what you see here?
Well, it's hard to say. We've done a lot of work on our stadium. It's smaller. We only seat about 3,000 people, so it's a lot cozier and a lot more intimate from that standpoint. You look like you have a lot more seats, and it's a lot bigger. But I mean, this is a nice ballpark. I mean, it just, like I said, it's just big. I don't know how many it holds, but it's much bigger than our ballpark.
Was it tough to entice you to come over to a new league?
No, I think that, the excitement for me was a new team and a new city and a new league. I think you get a chance to be part of a berth. And I said that to the media down there. I think that you can go out and manage in a lot of places that have had teams for 20, 30 years. And it's okay. But, I mean, to go into a city that hasn't had a team and a new stadium and a new league and get a chance to make an impact on a community for a lifetime, that's the exciting thing, because, they're going to remember the Crushers in Sonoma County long after I'm gone.
Okay, thanks very much, Paul. Have a good game.
Thank you. Bye.
That was Paul Dees of the Sonoma County Crushers. Local boy Michael Nielsen takes to the mound as we get underway here at the Stetson Bowl. Drives the count 0-2 right from the start.
Last year, Nielsen playing in the Cleveland organization.
Should mention that Michael Nielsen's a native of Burnaby, BC, making his second start in this homestand. He was one of the top ERAs so far in the Western League. The 0-2 pitch is high, drives the count to 1-2.
And facing Sam Taylor, who comes in with just a 162 batting average, not what you want to see out of your leadoff man.
Pitch misses outside to even up the count at 2. But Taylor has shown some speed last night. He was pretty big on the base paths for the Sonoma County Crushers. That's a ground ball to short. Lewis will scoop it up. Easily handled by first baseman Corey Parker, and there's one away.
Jeff Richardson.
Here's Jeff Richardson coming up to the plate for the Sonoma County Crushers, and he certainly lived up to the team's name, hitting .318 so far this season. Nielsen's first pitch is down low in the dirt for ball 1. Richardson, besides the .318 average, has 5 doubles on the year, no home runs, 10 runs batted in. There's a ground ball down the third baseway. Nestor Serrano can't get the handle on it. And Richardson's aboard.
And Nestor Serrano has apparently had a little bit of difficulty out in the field. He's hit well for Surrey this season, but has had his problems playing the third base position.
Serrano was a recent acquisition for the team, picked up during the Surrey Glaciers' initial 15-game road trip down around the Southern Division teams. Former Bellingham Mariner. So if you ever got down to see some Northwest League action south of the border, you might have seen him there last season.
And now we get to see what maybe one of the more impressive Western Baseball League hitters in Kyle Washington, who's playing right field tonight.
Washington hitting an impressive .414 on the year. The 0-1. Misses. That'll even up the count at 1.
Richardson is a threat to steal at first base. He's attempted 4 steals. He's been gunned down twice this season.
Last night, Washington went 3 for 5 in the first game of this series. He was a home run away from hitting for the first ever cycle in the Western Baseball League. So Nielsen's keeping a close eye on Richardson down at first base. Richardson has 2 stolen bases on the year. He's been caught stealing twice. So we'll see if Richardson tests the left-hander here. The 1-1. Fouled off into the stands.
Richardson going half-heartedly on the pitch. It looks like the hit and run might have been on, but he was a little bit hesitant getting off the bag there at first.
Yeah, not such a good jump off Mr. Nielsen there.
Surrey throwing consecutive left-handers at the Sonoma County team as Dale Balance went to the mound last night, another left-hander.
Yeah, and another BC native. However, Sonoma had a lot of luck off Dale Balance last night, the native of Nanaimo, BC. Pounded him for 7 runs in the second inning in a 10-6 victory over the Glaciers.
And you'll notice the hint of purple on the Sonoma County Crushers uniform, of course, part of their tribute to wine country. Sonoma County located just north of San Francisco, as we learned from Paul Drees.
The spirit of the grape. Here's the 2-2. High fastball swung on and missed as Nielsen records his first strikeout of the game.
Way to get it done, Mike. Go, boy.
Washington goes down swinging, and that'll bring up another slugger for the Sonoma County Crushers, and that would be Dan Lewis.
Lewis with quite a baseball history. He's been in pro ball since 1986 when he was drafted by the Houston Astros and actually played at the AAA level with Phoenix back in 1992 and with Iowa in '93.
As Nielsen looks in to take the sign, comes to the set. That's a high fastball. One of the things we were hearing before the game that I guess manager Dick Phillips wanted Nielsen to do was to get the ball down low and cause a few more ground balls happening. As we see Dan Lewis, the designated hitter. Another hard fastball. Lewis swings through it, and the count's even at 1-1.
And a big cut from Lewis, hitting .342 on the season with 6 home runs, 21 RBIs.
He's shown that he can hit the ball a long way, and if you haven't been out to the Stetson Bowl yet, come on out and you'll find out that the ball travels really well here. Lots of home runs so far since the season's begun here.
Lewis calling time and halting Nielsen in his motion.
Nielsen hasn't worked quickly so far in this first inning, so Lewis may be getting a little too settled in the box there. Counts 1-1. That pitch misses high. Small crowd out at the bowl tonight. Of course, there's overcast skies, a threat of rain. Misses high again. That'll drive the count 3-1 as Nielsen falls behind. Slight breeze blowing in from left center field. However, that hasn't deterred hitters here at the Stetson Bowl in the past. Nielsen delivers. Check swing foul down the line to drive the count full.
Another big bat in the on-deck circle in Vic Rosario, who's hitting .355 with 18 RBIs for Sonoma County.
Rosario had the highlight of last night's game with a monster 3-run shot to left field in that huge Sonoma 7-run second inning. The payoff. Big fastball down the heartland as Nielsen retires the side. So Jeff Richardson gets on base due to an error, but they can't do anything with him as Nielsen retires the side rather. No score after half an inning. There's the big fastball by Nielsen.
Nice pitch that just tailed away from the hitter Dan Lewis and cut the corner for a strike.
Well, the Surrey Glaciers coming to bat here in the first inning. Before before the game, Mr. Erickson had a chance to talk with Surrey manager Dick Phillips.
Dick, home opener that we're covering for the Surrey Glaciers. You've been on the road for such a long time. Did you ever think you'd get the feet off the ground?
Well, I thought eventually we might. We were gone for about 5 weeks, and it sure was good to get back here. Although we found out a whole bunch of things on the road that we couldn't experiment at home. Otherwise, the fans might have gotten mad at us. But so it was kind of a blessing we opened up on the road and were on the road that long.
Well, with all the teams playing together on the road and all the players, must have brought the team a lot closer together.
Well, yeah, we lived out of a bus and out of a motel room, and some of the parks weren't ready, like ours aren't. But we had a dress at the hotel and things like that, so it did bring them closer together.
Bruce Engels developed this league into what he proposes to be a #1 class baseball league within our area. Any aspirations of growing to another Canadian city?
Well, I understand there's a couple cities in the States that want to join our league. I haven't heard of any in Canada because once you go east of Vancouver, there aren't too many big cities with a population to really have a AA ball club.
Now, what do you expect? What type of expectations do you expect from the players for today's game?
Well, exactly what I expect from opening day. If they give 100% and they hustle, that's all I can ask. And if the talent's not there, we're not going to win. But so far, so good.
Good luck in the game, Dick.
Thank you, Steve.
Dick Phillips, of course, taking his team on a long 15-game road trip throughout the month of May. They had to play their entire month of May on the road because, of course, they were expecting to hold the Cloverdale Rodeo here. Of course, that didn't come about. Here's center fielder Richard Ernst leading things off for the Glaciers as he fouls the first pitch off for strike one.
Quickly going over the Sonoma County defense, Lieber playing first base, Mike Farrell at second, Vic Rosario at shortstop, and Jamie Chaffee playing at third. In the outfield, Richardson in left, Taylor in center, and Kyle Washington in right field. The battery, Ken Hokoff and Pissarro behind the plate for the Crushers.
As you saw, Richard Ernst hitting .271 on the year. But one of the things to watch for with Richard Ernst is when he gets on base, he's got some speed. Tied for second in the Western Baseball League for stolen bases.
And he hasn't been caught yet.
Squares to bunt. Fouls it back.
Ernst with 10 steals on the season, and he hasn't been thrown out once this year.
Ernst didn't steal a base last night, even though he managed to go 2 for 4 in the opening game of this series. However, pitchers pay a lot of attention to Ernst when he gets on base. He caused last night's Sonoma starter to balk when he got on to first. But that won't happen here as Ernst goes down swinging. There's one away here in the Surrey half of the first. Here's Fidel Banuelos. Although you hear the name Banuelos, he is a native of Portland, Oregon. However, he spent many years in the Mexican League playing with teams like Union Laguna and the Mexican City Red Devils. Hasn't seen a lot of action this season. He's only appeared in 12 of Surrey's games. As you saw, hitting .267. There's a base hit into right center field.
Lucky 13th hit of the year for Banuelos.
It's good to get over that milestone in an awful hurry. And here comes Corey Parker, the first baseman. As you see the little blooper into right center field. Not much he can do to handle those.
High spot now. 23.
So Corey Parker hitting .295 on the year. He shares the team lead for home runs with 6 on this Glacier squad.
Hit a home run on opening night as he christened the left field fence here at the Stetson Bowl.
Yeah, solo shot in the 8th. Unfortunately, it didn't do a lot for the Glaciers in their 6-2 opening day loss to the Long Beach Barracuda, as Banuelos is checked back at first base. Banuelos also has 2 steals on the year. He's been caught stealing 3 times, however, so far this season.
I'll break it up hard, baby. Fire!
Starter Ken Hocuff goes over to first once more. Tonight's starter for the Sonoma County Crushers, Ken Hocuff, is 2-2 on the year, making his 6th appearance of the season. He has a 3.41 ERA on the year. Corey Parker providing some of the power for this Surrey Glacier offense. Ahead in the count, 2-0. Chops at a pitch that might have been a little low and a little outside. But one of the things to look for on starter Ken Hocuff tonight, he's a notorious ground ball pitcher. Also a pitcher who claims to know the split finger fastball. So that might be something to look in his repertoire this evening. 2-1 the count to Parker as Hocuff checks the runner once more. Banuelos taking fairly generous lead over at first. And that one's down in the dirt.
Parker not getting a whole lot to swing at here as the ball has not really been on the plate at all for him. Former Detroit Tiger property, Corey Parker, and a big guy at 6'2" and 200 pounds.
In fact, Parker was 3 for 5 last night in the opener. That one just misses, and Parker's aboard with a walk.
Well, that'll bring up the left fielder, Jim Murphy, a guy I could talk about all night, a former UBC football player. Played in 1992 with the UBC Thunderbirds, but not a Vancouver native. He's from Federal Way, Washington. Came up to UBC to work on his master's degree.
As we see the replay on that pitch. As you can see, that pitch missing just a little bit inside on Parker. But Ken Hocuff finds himself with runners on first and second here in the first inning. And Surrey's big man up at the plate.
Murphy has dipped below 400 for the first time this season.
And batting, I guess, what you could call a mediocre 392. A lot of guys would kill for that average, but he's actually shaved about 18 points off his average since the home opener last Tuesday. He's batting .417 coming into this series. And that'll even up the count at 1-1.
Murphy, 28 years old, feels that his pro career is coming to an end fairly soon.
Murphy had a previous pro career playing in both the New York Penn State League and the Carolina League. That was back around 1990 and 91 in the Cubs organization. As we see Hocuff working. Big cut by the big man Murphy. And he falls behind 1-2.
Well, Murphy right up there with all the league leaders in virtually every offensive category. 6 home runs, as you mentioned, tied for the team lead. He's got 27 RBIs, which puts him well in front of any other Surrey player.
The 1-2. That one low and outside. So once again, Hocuff showing that he's more than willing to pitch around some of these sluggers in the early part of the Surrey batting order. Big breaking ball as Murphy goes down swinging. There's 2 away.
A nice looking bender from Hocuff as that ball just tailed too much for Murphy. He knew it was going to be a breaking ball. He didn't think it was going to break that far, though.
Here's the replay on that. I think we're probably going to see a lot of this breaking pitch from Ken Hocuff. As you can see, it started about waist high, then cut across the outside part of the plate. Here's Ricky Scruggs as the ball gets past the catcher, Larry Passero, and the runners advance. Now Hocuff has a much more serious situation to ponder here with runners at second and third. A fairly speedy runner at third with Banuelos.
But he can thank himself for making that great pitch to Murphy as 2 outs And runners at second and third is not quite as threatening as one out with runners at second and third.
And that'll leave some extra work here for Ricky Scruggs. Scruggs, the designated hitter, batting .310 on the year, as he's up 1-0 in the count. That's a good fastball on the outside corner.
And we noticed an interesting dynamic to the ballpark here. The Stetson Bowl on that wild pitch as the ball bounced straight back to the catcher when it got away from him. Barely enough time to get down to third for the Surrey players.
Now you see the background, it's painted blue, but it's actually made of concrete. And he delivers that pitch for strike 2.
Many parks you'll see padding in the back there, and I would expect that as construction progresses, you'll see some padding back there to protect the players, especially the catchers chasing down foul balls.
Hocuff looking to make short work of Ricky Scruggs here. Big high inside fastball. And the count's 2-2. Ricky Scruggs played in the Texas-Louisiana League last season.
Come on,
Spent some time with the San Antonio Tejanos. There's a ground ball to the gap. Great play by Mike Farrell over to first to retire the side. My, nice play by the second baseman there, Mike Farrell, as that one had the gap written all over it.
And it had 2 RBIs written all over it. Some tough luck for Surrey as Farrell made a great play, diving to his right and preventing 2 runs from scoring.
Let's see there, the big breaking ball by Hocuff, and Scruggs hits it hard to the gap at second. But Farrell with the big backhanded grab has no trouble at all retiring Mr. Scruggs. The Glaciers have threatened here in the first inning, but they don't score, and there's no score after 1. And down at field level, Steve Erickson.
Thanks, guys. Yes, I am. I have an interview with this young lady, Michelle Kupke. You sang that beautiful rendition of the anthem. How long have you been singing?
About 2 years.
Why did you get started in the first place?
I just started singing around the house, driving my parents crazy, and then I started listening to CDs and trying to copy Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey and stuff, and my parents thought I did a pretty good job. So I've been taking singing lessons about 2 years.
Wow, now you want to carry on and try and make a career out of this?
Yeah, I want to. Right now I'm training for opera, but I really want to sing rock and maybe join a few Broadway plays or something like that.
Oh, no kidding, you did a beautiful job. Anybody at home you want to say hi to?
Brett, my best friend, my 2 friends here that are with me today, Sophia and Andrea, and definitely my whole family. I got a whole bunch, but my dad, who was always here with me, and my mom.
Well, they did a beautiful job bringing you out here. Thanks very much, Michelle. Have a nice ball game. Thanks. Let's go back up to the broadcast booth.
Yeah, Michelle has quite a voice. If you've ever been out to the Stetson Bowl, she has one of the more memorable versions of the Star-Spangled Banner in O Canada that you'll ever want to hear. She's got a lot of voice for this little bandbox. Well, we're looking at the middle part of the order for the Crushers. They're going to send up this inning Vic Rosario, Jamie Chafee, and second baseman Mike Farrell, who made the great play to end the first part of the inning for the Surrey Glaciers. As Burnaby native Mike Nielsen goes to work on the Crushers. Here's Vic Rosario, the shortstop. He had a 3-run homer last night in the first game of this series.
And some good numbers on the season, hitting .355, 3 home runs, 18 RBIs.
As Nielsen delivers. Another pitch misses inside.
Rosario, another guy that's played at the AAA level with a whole bunch of teams. Toledo and Richmond, that would be the Atlanta and Detroit organizations respectively.
Toledo was traditionally Cleveland territory until as of late. Here's the 2-1. Ground ball to short.
Here you go.
Lewis picks it up easily. Little throw over to first, and Parker retires him.
Well, Joe Lewis, the shortstop for the Surrey Glaciers, is, by all reports, quite a showman. I haven't seen any hot dogging in the games that we've covered so far, but by all reports, he's quite a showman. And we saw on this one that he was a little casual in the throw to first, made Parker stretch out a little bit at first base.
Yeah, let's take a look here. Yeah, a little casual on that throw. Parker using every bit of his frame to stay on the bag on that one. Jamie Chafee up to the plate for the Sonoma County Crushers. He's already behind the count 0-1. That pitch misses low. Chafee batting .291 on the year. He's got 2 home runs and 12 RBIs as the Sonoma County third baseman. Here's the 1-1. Nielsen working that fastball. He hasn't been able to get it across too much in this game, even with the 2 consecutive strikeouts in the first inning. So, finds himself falling behind hitters a bit early. Nice breaking ball lands in there.
And a real change of speeds there from Nielsen. The breaking ball, just a slow bender, froze up the hitter Chafee at the plate.
Nielsen pitched the second game of the Long Beach series last week in Surrey's 6-5 win over the Barracuda. However, Nielsen wasn't around long enough to pick up the decision in that game, but right now has one of the lowest ERAs in the Western League. That pitch just misses. That'll drive the count full.
And despite the tendency to get behind in the count, no one has hit Nielsen hard yet in this game. Of course, he's only faced 5 batters so far.
The payoff. Down in the dirt. And Nielsen will walk his first batter of the game as Chasey's on with 1 out.
First baseman Angelo Lieber stepping into the box now for Sonoma County.
Actually, that would be second baseman Mike Farrell, but there's the big breaking ball. It started off a bit low and just kept going lower as John Turles, the catcher, had a little bit of trouble handling that pitch. In fact, Turles a little shaken up as the pitch came up and hit him on the chin. He'll have to take a few warm-up throws before we can get back underway.
And you're right, that is Farrell stepping in there. How I could forget after that outstanding defensive play in the bottom half of the first inning, I don't know.
Farrell was 2 for 5 last night with a pair of singles. He's one of the few Sonoma County Crusher players who didn't come around to score. But as we saw last inning, he has the ability to slap some leather around down in the gap. Left-hander checks the runner at first, delivers. First pitch to Farrell's up high for ball 1.
Farrell, who once was property of the New York Mets, got as high as AA, played in Binghamton. Binghamton, a real baseball city. That's where the New York Yankees used to keep their AAA teams. So back in the 50s, a lot of awfully good ball players went through there.
Long before Columbus. No one's in there. Evens up the count at 1-1. But like a lot of these players, you know, some of these guys have posted impressive numbers in organized baseball down in the rookie leagues and A leagues. But once they hit AA, some of these guys seem to hit a barrier. That pitch just misses inside. You know, last season, he only had 3 at-bats in Binghamton in AA and failed to get a hit, but also struggled in St. Lucie of the Florida State League, only hitting 167. So Farrell trying to breathe some new life into his career here in the Western League.
Now, AA generally is regarded as the weeding out ground. A lot of players, professional players at the single A level and below. Of course, there's 2 designations of single A, long season and short season, and then you've got the platitude of rookie leagues down there you can hardly keep track of. But once you're up to AA, you're really only 2 injuries away from the big leagues, and that's where most people end up finding out if they're going to be making a lot of dough or if they're going to be hanging them up pretty soon.
Farrell takes the 2-1 high into right center field as Fidel Banuelos has to cover a lot of real estate to grab that one. And there's 2 away. The runner, Jamie Chafee, stays at first. But Nielsen delivers the pitch, but look how far Banuelos has to come. He was playing much closer to the line, but had to dash right over, so he's showing a bit of his speed there. So with Farrell gone, that'll bring up the first baseman, Angelo Lieber. Lieber also added a 2-run shot of his own in the big Sonoma second inning last night. An inning that saw 10 Crusher batters come to the plate as they rocked starter Dale Balance.
Lieber, no stranger to Canada. He played with Thunder Bay in the Northern League last season.
Another independent circuit. Another good independent circuit that Bruce Engels started. It's seen its share of major league luminaries in its time. As Lieber quickly falls behind the count, 0-2. Nielsen starting to go right after the batters here, starting to get some of those fastballs across, as he struggled earlier in this inning. No score here at the Stetson Bowl. There's the 0-2 fouled back. Jamie Chafee at first with 2 out. Of course, it was the second inning last night that proved disastrous for the Glaciers. But Nielsen far from that point here as he misses outside. Glaciers so far are doing very well on the season. There are only 2 games out of first place in the Western Baseball League Northern Division. Of course, the one thing keeping them out of first place right now are the hot bats of the Bend Bandits. Runner goes, the pitch is outside, throw down to second, and Greg Bergeron has no trouble at all retiring Jamie Chafee on the stolen base.
Chafee was thrown out by a mile. That wasn't even close.
Not a good jump at all on the left-hander.
Could have thrown him out 2 or 3 times on that play. Chafee now has attempted 9 steals, has only gotten away with 4 of them.
Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
So you've heard about the new Western Baseball League, and the only Canadian city in the league is Surrey, and our team is called the Surrey Glaciers. But if you want to see televised coverage of one of their games, then there's only one place to catch the action, and that's right here on Rogers Community 4. Our next game will be Saturday, July 1st, when the Glaciers host the Tri-City Posse. There will be a 2-hour tape delay, and the game will be televised at 9 p.m. So catch all the action right here on Rogers Community 4.
Up there by Dixon. Dixon in the spot. Great save there by the goaltender. Menard, the rebound.
Watch this. The big man.
Sean Olsen calling a signal, pitches out to Ryan Cody, gets around the outside, gets the first down, and he's tackled before he takes it away. Here's Cody, and he gets it to go! And he'll go to the baby! Unbelievable! Cody
You're watching Rogers Community 4, serving Surrey, Langley, and New Westminster.
We're back at the Stetson Bowl here in Cloverdale. Catcher John Turley singled to left to start off the inning as Nestor Serrano fails to check his swing on Ken Hocuff's first offering. But John Turley started off the inning, and you'll see he took Hocuff's second offering into left field, so he's aboard with no one out.
Looked like Turles wanted to pull that ball, but ended up not really getting a hold of it completely. Good thing for him as it dropped in front of left fielder Richardson. Turles aboard with a single.
Nestor Serrano behind in the count 0-2. That pitch inside. Serrano so far this season hitting .280. No home runs, 8 RBIs. Native of Venezuela. Fouls the next offering back. Count remains at 1-2. So I mentioned that Serrano came to the Surrey Glaciers through the Seattle Mariners organization. Spent last season in Bellingham, hitting .274.
Pretty good numbers. Was promoted, in fact, to Appleton, Wisconsin, where the Mariners keep their single-A team, their short season single-A team in the Midwest League. And a little bit surprising to see him released after the season he had last year with the Mariners.
That big breaking ball by Hocuff misses outside in the dirt. But one of the things we were talking about on opening day, Chris, was the fact that Nestor Serrano, for a third baseman, is actually quite small, under 6 feet. So
well under 6 feet, in fact, listed at 5'8" and 165 pounds.
As he fouls the next pitch back into the stands.
And as you know, Bill, when they're developing players for the major leagues, and should point out, the Western Baseball League is not a developmental league. They want the best players they can get, and they don't care how good they're going to be 5 years from now. But when they're developing players for the major leagues, third baseman in particular, they're looking for big bodies, power hitters and the like, and obviously Serrano doesn't fit that bill.
Here's the 2-2 to Serrano. Ground ball to third. Over to second, back to first, and we've got ourselves a 5-4-3 double play. Chafee having no problems at all, backhanding that sharp grounder to third. And quickly there's 2 away.
Well, Serrano had a good cut at the ball. He hit it hard, pulled it, but right to the third baseman, Chafee. Chafee goes to second. Throw just a little bit off the bag, but Farrell able to relay effectively. Nice stretch by Lieber, and there's 2 down now for Surrey.
That'll bring up the second baseman, Greg Bergeron, as he takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Bergeron struggling a little at the plate, hitting only .234 on the year. It has certainly made some fine defensive plays so far this season.
And the hits he has gotten have been timely ones. 11 RBIs for Bergeron.
That pitch misses. Hocuff falls behind 2-0.
And keep in mind when we're spitting out these statistics that the team has only played 20 games, so 11 RBIs in 20 games is a healthy total.
Well, we get crossed up in the count, and Bergeron is walked. And that brings up the shortstop, Joe Lewis. after mentioning Lewis is quite a character on this team, played in Italy last season with Colecchio. And he's mentioned that one of the most interesting experiences he's ever had in his baseball career so far was getting onto a plane, flying off to Milan, and trying to make connections to try and play baseball somewhere in Italy.
Yeah, Lewis had no idea when he went over there that he'd be able to make a living, if he'd be able to make a living playing baseball. If they played baseball, I assume he knew that much anyway about professional baseball in Italy.
But he managed to find a team in Colecchio. Now he's back playing with the Surrey Glaciers. Once again, another player who's struggling at the plate, hitting only 187. But Lewis has also been slapping the rubber, or slapping the leather, I should say, around the hole. You know, on Friday night, made a fine defensive play on an unbelievable double play. Dived deep into the dirt, and with his back turned towards home plate, just casually flipped the ball about 6 feet into the air to the second baseman, where they quickly turned the 2. Counts 1-1 to Joe Lewis. Pitch misses up high. The throw to second. As Bergeron tried to steal second, he's caught easily by catcher Larry Passero, and the side's retired. So the Surrey Glaciers get a pair of base runners here in the first, as we see that Bergeron didn't have a jump at all on Ken Hocuff. And you'll see that Victor Rosario had no trouble at all applying the tag.
Almost looked like a delayed steal there. Bergeron.
So let's see what Steve Erickson's up to. Steve?
You never know what I'm up to. I'm walking around the crowd. There are so many celebrities here. It's unbelievable. Joining me right now, Dan McEachern. Dan McEachern's a gentleman that manages the Boston Pizza location in Newton. Dan, first off, I got to thank you for having us our locker room anniversary show at your location there.
Oh, you're welcome, Steve.
And now you're very intensely watching the game. You must enjoy the ball game so far.
Oh, it's our first time we were able to get out to watch the Glaciers, and we're having a good time watching them.
Are you impressed with the looks of the facility?
Oh, it looks great. Last time I was here was at the rodeo, and I can't believe this is the old rodeo grounds.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to believe when you look at the outfield and the bleachers and the Stetson Bowl location. It's really tough to understand. This was the rodeo.
Yeah.
So what's new should we kind of look for from your location next?
Well, we want to have your show the locker room come back. We had a good time while you were there, and I want to thank you guys for coming out and having a good time with us. And we're here tonight. We want to give away some pizzas tonight during the game sometime. So hopefully somebody in the stands is going to win some pizzas tonight.
I don't think that'll be a real tough sell. And I see Bill waving out of the window. Thanks, Dan. We'll go up to the broadcast booth to Bill.
Pizza would be really good up here. We'll be back just after this.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Pepsi. Pepsi's a proud sponsor of the Surrey Glaciers and Rogers Community 4 television coverage. Have fun, stay young, drink Pepsi. From the people who helped generate this exceptional facility, Alnor Services is a proud sponsor of the Surrey Glaciers baseball team. Alnor has been successfully handling all your heavy equipment needs for 25 years, specializing in commercial site preparation, excavation, underground services, clearing, demolition, sports fields, and topsoil sales. For more information, call 531-5935, Monday through Friday. And today's television coverage was also sponsored by All Sport Body Quencher, proud to support the Surrey Glaciers and community television.
Well, we're back at the Stetson Bowl as Angelo Lieber steps up to the plate. He drives the count full to starter Mike Nielsen. He fouls the pitch back.
Long at bat for Angelo Lieber. He's fouled off 4 pitches now.
An at bat that stretches into the last inning as he was up to bat when third baseman Jamie Chafee got picked off third. And Nielsen delivers the payoff once again. Misses up high and walks him.
Second walk of the game for Nielsen here in the top of the 3rd inning. He's got 2 strikeouts to go with those walks, though.
As you see Nielsen deliver. Sonoma County batters have been making Nielsen throw a lot of pitches so far tonight, but unlike other levels of minor league baseball where pitchers may be on a pitch count or something along those lines, manager Dick Phillips has not had any problems at all allowing his pitchers throw a lot of pitches and still stay in the game. As Larry Passero, the catcher, fouls off the first offering.
Passero looking to move Lieber over to second with the bunt, but just chopped it up the first baseline foul.
As Passero struggles at the plate. Passero is only hitting 182 on the year. At one point, Passero was one of 5 catchers that the Sonoma County Crushers were carrying. So on a 24-man roster, and that's the limit in the Western Baseball League, that's quite a large number. Passero, a rookie, this is his first professional year. Played at Canada College and at the University of San Francisco. Now, Canada College isn't actually in Canada, but I don't know where offhand it is. Nice breaking ball by the big left-hander.
And was coached at Canada College by Mike Garcia, the former Cleveland Indian pitcher.
He had an impressive career with the Tribe. Has shown in college that he can put some big numbers up on the board, hitting .292 one year. But he's quickly behind to Michael Nielsen, 0-2, as he finds himself trying to stay alive at the plate.
Lieber over at first base. Not a real threat to steal over there. He hasn't stolen a base yet. He's been caught stealing in his 1 attempt this season.
And he only had 1 stolen base last season in the Northern League, when he split his year between Sioux Falls and Thunder Bay. That's quite the journey. I don't think Nielsen has shown us his best move to first so far tonight. Nielsen's been a bit casual about checking the runner at first, and so far runners haven't been able to get much of a jump on him.
In fact, Lieber leading the wrong way as that pitch was delivered. Heading back towards first, but Nielsen going to home all the way.
So runners not taking any liberties with the local boy. The 1-2.
Go back now. Go back.
That's a fastball that got away from Mike Nielsen, ended up high.
But again, we're seeing Nielsen go deep into the count against these Sonoma County Crushers.
As you can hear, a small but vocal crowd here at the Stetson Bowl this evening. A big breaking ball, maybe a little high, but Passero swings through it, and there's 1 away.
Ring up the 3rd strikeout for Michael Nielsen.
Hey, roll a pair now.
As we see Nielsen deliver. Even from over the top, you can see the movement on that pitch. It broke about a foot from the shoulders right down to the top of the letters. As Nielsen checks the runner, Lieber again. Sam Taylor, the leadoff hitter up at the plate. He grounded out to short to start off the game. That was back in the first inning. The 1-0. Hits the outside corner. Taylor doesn't like it too much, but that won't help him as the count goes to 1-1.
Well, Taylor not really doing the things you want your leadoff hitter to be able to do. Comes in with a 162 average, as we mentioned, and had trouble laying down the bunt on that last pitch. Oh, and now we've got a runner picked off first.
Nice job, Mike.
And that time we see Nielsen's best move, as he easily caught Lieber going the wrong way on that one. Let's take a look at this again. Lieber getting the big jump on first. Lieber was off before Nielsen even lifted his front foot. So there Nielsen has a ton of options. He can step off the rubber and throw, but he opted to go to first.
And it looks as though Lieber was shaken up on the head first slide into second base. Comes off the field wringing his neck, shaking out his hands a little bit.
He went into second base pretty hard. So Nielsen has no runners aboard for Sam Taylor.
And a good thing is that pitch gets away from Turles behind the plate.
But the home plate umpire is saying that Taylor had squared to bunt or came around on the pitch, and it's rung up for strike 2. I'd like to take a second look at that, if that's possible, as Taylor would also like to take a second look at that.
Still arguing with the umpire, Sam Taylor is.
Let's take a look here. Now the pitch is in the dirt and gets past the catcher, Turles, but does Taylor try to hit it? Yes, he does. He didn't check his swing. The bat went over the front of the plate, and Nielsen has no trouble at all recording his 4th strikeout of the night as Taylor goes down swinging. So Michael Nielsen putting on a strikeout performance here for the fans at the Stetson Bowl. And after 2.5 innings, there's no score. Sonoma County Crushers taking the field from Grape Country out in Northern California. No score so far. The Crushers still looking for their first hit of the game. As we see one of the young umpires in the Western Baseball League. The umpires are fresh out of umpire school. So the Western League turning into one of the development grounds for baseball umpires as well. Well, the Surrey Glaciers are finishing off their homestand. They'll take to the field tomorrow night at 7:05 for a game against the Crushers to finish off this series. Then on the weekend, the Salinas Peppers are in town for a 3-game set before the Glaciers take to the road. Then later on in the month, the Bend Bandits come in for a 4-game set. That one should be big, seeing the Glaciers are chasing the Bandits for first place in the Northern Division. And just to remind you that tomorrow night's game against Sonoma County can be heard live on CITR 101.9. Myself, Bill Curry, and Chris Uren, bringing you all the live play-by-play action. As the first pitch to Joe Lewis is down low for ball 1.
Lewis also getting to continue his at-bat as Bergeron was caught stealing to end the inning in the second.
Fouls off the next pitch. Guess I should also mention that Saturday afternoon's game against the Salinas Peppers at 1 o'clock will also be a CITR broadcast. So just turn your radio to 101.9 FM. Lewis up in the count 2-1 as we see starter Ken Hocuff on the mound, the big right-hander. Delivers a breaking ball nicely on the inside corner.
There's that big bender. That's his best pitch without a doubt. We've seen him throw it for a strike a couple of times, various locations, various speeds, and it's been very effective against the Surrey batters.
As Lewis steps out for a moment. fouls off another pitch, and it's 2-2. As we see Hocuff go into his delivery again. That was fouled off his foot. Oy, that's gotta hurt. Sharp grounder to third. Lewis hits it hard, but Chafee has no trouble throwing over to first. As Lieber records the put-out. So Lewis continues to struggle early in the season, hitting the ball hard, but not having any luck against Ken Hocuff. That'll bring up the top half of the order and Richard Ernst. Ernst didn't have much better luck against Hocuff his first time at bat, striking out to start off the Surrey half of the inning. Comebacker to the mound. Hocuff will deliver over to Lieber, and there's 2 away.
And again, the big breaking ball from Hocuff is what handcuffed Ernst, the batter, as he just chopped it up towards the pitcher's mound. Hocuff had no trouble retiring him.
And here's that big breaking ball again. Right on the handles. There's not a lot that you're going to do with that. You just chop it back to the pitcher. Fidel Banuelos up at the plate. He has one of 2 Surrey hits so far in the game. Single back in the first, and there's one towards the line that'll drop in. And Banuelos has his second hit of the game.
And it sounded as though Banuelos is going to be using another bat in his next at bat, as that one sounded as though it was a broken bat single, just a little flare that dropped in along the third baseline in the outfield.
Banuelos is aboard with the single. That brings up the meat of the order and Corey Parker. Parker walked his first time up. Hocuff showing a lot of respect for the Surrey slugger. As the pitch misses inside, ball 1. Parker hasn't really shown a lot of power in the past. It just seems to have come about this season.
You could almost say in this homestand, he came back from the big 15-game road trip with just 2 home runs. Now he's up to 6.
He spent the last 2 seasons in Fayetteville of the Sally League, or the South Atlantic League, if you will, in the Detroit organization. Both years just hit around 213 or 225, but only recorded 4 home runs in both seasons. So Corey Parker discovering some previously unknown power, managing to hit lots of home runs so far in the Western League. As Hocuff checks the runner at first. Parker, a native of Tustin, California, 24-year-old. There's a sharp ground ball to first, and Lieber will grab it up and end the inning. For their first hit, Lieber looked like a good inside fastball that Parker hit on the handles once again down the line. And once again, there's no score.
Sonoma County coming out here to start off the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Jeffrey Richardson, the left fielder, leading things off. Kyle Washington, the right fielder, will bat second this inning, and Dan Lewis, the designated hitter, will be the 3rd Sonoma County hitter here in the top of the 4th inning. No score so far in the ball game. In fact, Sonoma County still looking for their first hit in this one off of Surrey Glacier starter Michael Nielsen, who has cruised through 3 complete. Really the heart of the order here, Bill. If any damage is going to be done by Sonoma County, it's going to be by these 3 guys, Richardson, Washington, and Lewis.
Yeah, Richardson, of course, hitting .318 on the years, but Michael Nielsen has shown pretty good control over the last couple of innings, throwing a lot of strikes, getting his best pitches across. As we see some upcoming Surrey Glacier games coming up on Rogers Community 4. Of course, the next one on Canada Day, July the 1st. 9 o'clock versus Tri-Cities. Now, the game is actually going to be played at 7 o'clock that night. So you come out to the ballpark, and then you can go home and watch the last 2 hours of it. Saturday, July 8th, the nighttime affair against the Grays Harbor Gulls. And Sunday, July 23rd versus the Long Beach Barracuda. So lots of great baseball action coming your way on Rogers Community 4.
Richardson stepping into the box to face Nielsen now. Richardson, one of only 3 Sonoma County players to reach base through the first 3 innings of this contest. He got aboard on an error by Nestor Serrero at third base. Here he slaps one towards second. Bergeron is able to come up with the ball, but no, he's not, as it skitters away from him. And once again, Richardson is aboard, although this time I think it would be a pretty tough call to give Bergeron an error on that shot up the middle.
Maybe not Bergeron on that one, but just take a look here. This is some of the stuff that the Glaciers have been pulling in the infield. Watch Bergeron flip the ball to Joe Louis very quickly, but Louis couldn't get the handle on it, but had he been able to pull the ball out of his glove, he would have had a pretty decent shot at Richardson.
Another shot up the middle. Bergeron can't get to this one. So Washington aboard now. Runners at first and second, none away. Top of the 4th inning and no score in this contest.
That'll leave things up to the designated hitter, Dan Lewis, but Nielsen finds himself with runners aboard. Let's take a look at that pitch. As Washington gets just a little Texas leaguer into right field.
Nice inside-out swing, though, by Washington. Shows why he's hitting .414. You got to be able to use the whole field if you're going to hit .414. Washington did it there. And now Nielsen, who didn't give up a hit through 3, finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Stepping up to the plate is Dan Lewis, the veteran. He's played everywhere at the AAA level as recently as 1993. He's hitting .342, 6 home runs, leads his team in RBIs, and he's got ducks on the pond. Tough play for Lewis. Unable to turn the deuce, but there's 1 out recorded at second base as Kyle Washington heads back to the bench. Lewis aboard on the fielder's choice.
But still runners on the corner with only 1 out.
And stepping in now is another good hitter, Vic Rosario.
Watch this. This is an awful tough play for Joe Louis to be making. Slow grounder, has to charge in order to grab it. After that, it gets pretty hard to turn the double play.
Would have been difficult to throw Lewis out at first if there hadn't been a runner aboard.
Here's Vic Rosario.
Rosario and his 1 at bat grounded out to Lewis at shortstop. But again, big numbers, hitting .355 this season with 18 RBIs. And now all he needs is a long fly ball to cash in the first run of this game.
Rosario's played at the AAA level. Richmond, Toledo, has hit as high as .306 in AAA.
In fact, saw some time with the Atlanta Braves in 1990, 7 at bats, I believe.
Hit .143 over those 7 at bats.
But he sure got fooled by a breaking ball from Nielsen in that last pitch. Count is at 1-1. Runners on the corner, Nielsen looking him back.
Rosario looks to be one of the premier shortstops in the Western Baseball League. Went straight from high school to Elmira, the New York Penn State League. That's close to your old stomping grounds.
Certainly is, an area I'm very familiar with. That would be the Red Sox organization, the Elmira Pioneers. 1-2, and Rosario fouls it straight back. Nielsen would do well to get a strikeout here, get himself out of a real jam. Rosario with a lot of power, runner at third base.
3 home runs on the year. That's a lot of power for a shortstop. It's not a traditional power position.
Again, no score yet. Sonoma County with a runner on third base. Let's see the throw. It's offline. No, not in time. Coming in to score on the sacrifice fly is going to be Jeffrey Richardson. Rosario picks up an RBI, and coming to the plate now with 2 out is going to be Jamie Chafee, the third baseman.
So Rosario with the sacrifice fly. High fastball that Rosario had no trouble at all taking to the opposite field. Vanuelos had to drift over to get it, but not much of a throw on the attempt to get Richardson from third.
Accurate throw, but perhaps a little bit too much air underneath that one. Stepping up now is going to be Chafee, who walked back in the second inning. Tries to lay down the bunt. Goes foul, however.
Chafee walked last inning, ended up getting picked off from first base. Was caught stealing.
Well, the ruling is caught stealing, but he was picked off as he had broken towards second and was thrown out at the second base bag.
Ended the only Sonoma threat in the second inning.
1 strike right now to Chafee. Nielsen looking back. Dan Lewis at first base. And swinging through the pitch is Chafee. Count now at 0-2. So the first run is scored here on the top of the fourth inning. Sonoma County picking up the first run of the ball game. They lead up by 1 now. Nielsen just missing with the breaking ball there.
Chafee with the .291 average. He does possess some power with 2 home runs, 12 RBIs. Also has a little bit of speed should he get on base. That pitch just misses.
And again, Nielsen just all over the plate, but not able to retire Chafee. 2 out here, top of the 4th inning. Sonoma County on top by 1. The runner at first is Dan Lewis, who got aboard on a fielder's choice. Advancing Richardson to third. Richardson came in to score. And there's the strikeout pitch from Nielsen.
That's as good a fastball as Nielsen's thrown all night.
Just cutting the outside corner, not liking it one bit as Jamie Chafee. But he's going to take a seat here as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch from Nielsen, and you'll watch. It was just on the outside corner.
But you should have seen Jamie Chafee's reaction after the strikeout. He just took off the helmet, took the bat, laid it down in the batter's box as if to tell the umpire, hey, why don't you try and hit that pitch? So as Chafee goes back to the dugout, we're going to take a break. It's 1-0 Sonoma.
So you've heard about the new Western Baseball League, and the only Canadian city in the league is Surrey, and our team is called the Surrey Glaciers. But if you want to see televised coverage of one of their games, then there's only one place to catch the action, and that's right here on Rogers Community 4. Our next game will be Saturday, July 1st, when the Glaciers host the Tri-City Posse. There will be a 2-hour tape delay, and the game will be televised at 9 p.m. So catch all the action right here on Rogers Community 4.
Great picked up there by Dixon. Dixon in the spot. Great save there by the goaltender. Bedard, the rebound.
Watch this. The big man.
Sean Olsen calling a signal, pitches out to Ryan Cody, gets around the outside, gets the first down, and he's tackled before he takes it away. Here's Cody, and he gets it to go! And he'll go play by McCrory! Unbelievable! Cody
You're watching Rogers Community 4, serving Surrey, Langley, and New Westminster.
Sonoma County pitcher Ken Hokoff picks up 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Jim Murphy retired, the leadoff batter retired as he tried to bunt down the third base line. Hokoff fielding the ball himself, gunning to first. Murphy out for 1 away. Then Ricky Scruggs came up and bounced out to second on the first pitch. So now in the box is catcher John Turles. Again, 2 out here. Bottom of the 4th inning, the score Sonoma 1, Surrey nothing.
The catcher Turles with 1 of 3 Surrey hits on the game so far. Ground ball to short easily, or second rather, easily handled by Mike Farrell. And that quickly we're out of the inning, Chris.
Boy, that was a quick one as 2 outs recorded at second base and Murphy out bunting to lead off the inning. Here's the at-bat by Turles as he just chops the ball up to second base. Farrell scoots over, fields it cleanly, throws to first, and Hokoff with a real easy inning for Sonoma County.
Helps when you can work that quickly. So no trouble at all for the big right-hander, and it's still 1-0 Sonoma as the Glaciers go down quickly.
Looking ahead now to the top of the 5th inning, it's going to be Chafee, the third baseman, who walked back in the 2nd inning. He's going to lead things off in the 5th. Mike Farrell, the second baseman, will bat second in this inning for Sonoma County, and Angelo Lieber, the first baseman, will be the third hitter of the inning. Michael Nielsen still in there pitching. He's had a good performance so far for the Surrey Glaciers, given up 1 run, just 2 hits though so far in the contest. We're going to head back down to field level now, and Steve Erickson.
Thanks, guys. John, you're watching the game so intensely up there.
Well, you know, I like to come out and watch all the local teams. The Glaciers are new, and I thought I'd come check them out.
This gentleman, for a lot of people that are not aware, this is John Tenta, better known to all the wrestling fanatics as Earthquake. And you've been around. Any more sumo wrestling?
Pardon me?
Any more sumo wrestling?
No sumo wrestling. That's done and over with. I'm just, I've changed companies. I'm with the World Championship Wrestling out of Atlanta, and now I'm known as Avalanche instead of Earthquake.
Wow, a bit of a name change. What's the future hold? Where do you go from here? A lot more travel?
Well, I'm actually moving down to Florida next month. I've lived here for 32 years, and now I'm moving, so that's going to be a big change for me.
It's going to be a big loss. Sorry to see you go like that, John. Enjoy everything you do.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Thanks a lot. Let's go back up to the guys.
Thanks, Steve. Fitting to have an Avalanche here at a Glaciers game.
You know, along with earthquakes, we could have every major natural disaster happening here.
Jamie Chafee getting ready to step into the box for Sonoma County. Chafee walked back in the 2nd inning, was thrown out trying to steal in that inning.
First pitch fouled off him. I think got a piece of his shoulder in the box.
Check that, that's Mike Farrell in there. Awfully hard to pick up the numbers of those Sonoma County players as Farrell is in the batter's box. Farrell flied out to right field in his at-bat.
You see those Sonoma County uniforms, they're black with the purple lettering on the back. I'm told that's not their true road uniforms. That their real road uniforms are gray with the purple letters on the back, but somehow they went missing and they haven't gotten around to replacing them yet. So these are more of their spring training togs.
The joys of minor league ball. Count 2-1 right now on Farrell. Sonoma County leading this one by a 1-0 score as they picked up their only run of the game back in the 4th inning. Last inning. Nielsen just off the plate with that breaking ball of his. 3-1 now the count.
Farrell also played basketball in his high school. That was El Capitan High School in Lakeside, California. So a two-sport athlete.
Well, it's interesting looking down the rosters of these two teams. You look down the Surrey Glacier roster, and there are 2 BC boys on the team. You look down the Sonoma County roster, as here's a ball driven sharply out into right field. On his horse, however, is Banuelos, and he makes the grab.
Nice grab there on Fidel Banuelos.
But you look down the Sonoma County roster, and there's only 3 guys that aren't from California.
Of course, the Western League held a lot of their tryouts in California, as we see the hitter Farrell going once again to right field, much farther to the opposite field. So Farrell building a little bit of a book on himself in this one. Popping out to right both times at bat.
Now it's Angelo Lieber up to hit for Sonoma County. He walked back in the 3rd inning, led off the 3rd inning with a walk, takes a strike here from Nielsen.
Like I said, it's not surprising because the Western League held a lot of their tryouts in Arizona and Southern and Northern California. So a lot of the players going out for the teams, and farm directors phoning up about some players with pro experience are bound to be from those areas.
Thought it was interesting when Long Beach came to town that they had 5 players from Long Beach State University on their team.
And a handful of players with experience in the big leagues.
And there's a sharply hit single by Angelo Lieber through the hole between shortstop and 3rd. He's aboard with a single. First base runner here of the 5th inning is Angelo Lieber. Larry Pissarro comes up. Here's the replay as Lieber really got around on the Nielsen offering.
Good inside fastball. Lieber was a bit far off the plate, managed to get the outside part of the bat on it. So Nielsen wasn't able to jam him on the handles like maybe he had hoped on that pitch.
Pissarro, in his first confrontation with Nielsen, struck out. That was in the 3rd, second out of the 3rd inning. Lieber at first has already been thrown out trying to steal. He was picked off of first base.
And that was the one back in the 3rd inning when Lieber took off for second before Nielsen was even ready to kick and fire from the set.
Counted 0-1 to Pissarro. As the weather is cooling off a little bit here, threatening rain at the Stetson Bowl. And a little nip in the air as the sun has gone down.
Lights certainly starting to take effect.
Nice pitch, Mike, come on.
I understand we had a power failure last evening.
Yeah, it's one of the things that can happen around the 7th inning when the score was 9-0 for the Crushers. For some odd reason, the lights went out. It took them about 10 minutes to restore power to the field lights, but they got back underway, and I guess the power surge coming back managed to affect the Surrey Glaciers because they managed to come across with 6 runs in the 7th and 8th inning last night, and Sonoma all of a sudden found themselves looking over their shoulders in what seemed to be a game that was well put away.
And again, Nielsen is really obsessed with Lieber over there at first base.
Well, he got him once, why not again? But you'll notice that Lieber is not taking as large a lead as he did last time. Well, that's
one pitch is a strike on the inside corner.
That's a good pitch on the inside corner that had Pissarro sort of backing off the plate a bit.
So Nielsen looking to strike out Pissarro for the 2nd time in this game. Top of the 5th inning, Sonoma County leading by a 1-0 score. And just barely getting around on that fastball is Pissarro keeping himself alive in the box.
You take a look down over at home plate, up around the backstop. You'll notice that, maybe we'll see that again, but there's no net above the backstop. So we were talking about this last Tuesday on the radio broadcast, that if you ever wanted to get a foul ball at a professional baseball game, this is the place to do it. Because just about anything that's foul goes out of play. And into the stands.
And there you can see it from our vantage point, Bill, if you wanted to get a foul ball or maybe lose some teeth. Those things get back here in a hurry, I'll tell you.
I'll opt for the foul ball and keep my teeth. We'll get those cat-like reflexes happening.
Nielsen again going to first, checking Lieber. 2-2 the count now on Passero.
Beautiful facility, the Stetson Bowl. Going to be one of the classic ballparks in minor league baseball, I think.
Nice pitch from Nielsen as they'll appeal. First base umpire says no, and the count moves to 3-2 now on Passero, who just barely held back on that inside fastball from Nielsen.
That was a mighty good-looking pitch by the left-hander. Let's take a look at that. Maybe just a bit inside, but I think Passero held his swing there.
Got to agree with you, but I think that Nielsen hit that location earlier in the count and got a strikeout of it, so that's why he was going there again. Full count with one away, and coming out to have a word with Nielsen is going to be pitching coach for the Surrey Glaciers.
As we take another look at that pitch. Awful close.
Awful close. It tailed back towards the plate, it looked like to me, Bill, but nonetheless, the count's going to be 3-2.
As Stan Huff goes to the mound. Stan Huff, the pitching coach for the Surrey Glaciers, a native of Waco, Texas, has over 19 years of experience in professional baseball. Spent some time in the Mets organization as a catcher. So what better pitching coach to have than someone who's handled a lot of pitchers in his playing career?
Another guy from Waco, Texas on the Surrey team, Ricky Rhodes, big 6'5" starter that we haven't seen yet in this homestand, but a guy we expect to see.
Missing a couple of starters so far in this homestand, Dwayne Brown and Ricky Rhodes.
There's a strikeout, throw to second, it's in time, there's a double play, and the inning is over just like that. So Passero called out on strikes as he took a fastball from Nielsen. Then Turles threw down to second, where Bergeron was able to retire Lieber, who's now been caught stealing twice in this contest.
Not a good record on the base pass for Lieber so far. Was shaken up on the first time around when he got picked off first by Mike Nielsen, and now he finds himself being retired again to end the inning here in the fourth.
We're going to go now to the bottom of the fifth inning. Sonoma Crushers leading this one by a 1-0 score. Surrey still looking for their first run of the ball game. Serrano, Bergeron, and Lewis to bat here in the bottom of the fifth inning. Still in the game is starter Ken Hokoff for the Sonoma County Crushers, pitching a shutout through 4 complete.
Hokoff worked really quickly last inning in the Surrey half of the fourth. Managed to, I don't think he threw 10 pitches that entire half inning. Retired Murphy on the bunt on the second pitch to Murphy. As we see some great Canada Cup women's fast pitch action coming to Surrey at Softball City, June 19th to 25th. And Rogers Forest Sports will be there on Sunday, June 25th, to cover the final at 4 p.m.
We saw a little pitching display earlier on this evening as part of the promotion before the game.
And Michelle Granger, one of the fastest fast pitch pitchers in the world.
I was boisterously begging to go out there and take some cuts until I actually saw her deliver the ball, at which point I turned tail. Here's a shot up the middle, gets by 2 Sonoma County players, and into first with a single is the leadoff batter, Nestor Serrano.
Serrano showing some good hustle on that, right up the middle.
Ball just hit right through the box, but then we see it got right by the shortstop as well, so that could well be ruled an error. Let's see what the official scoring is.
We'll wait to see what they scored. And they've scored it. Surrey's 4th hit of the game.
So Serrano on with a leadoff single up the middle.
I think that was a tough play by Rosario. Shortstop.
Bergeron in to hit. The second baseman for the Surrey Glaciers. He walked in his last at bat, and he takes a ball here from Hokoff.
Well, Bergeron caught stealing after walking.
We haven't seen a successful stolen base yet in this game.
Both catchers showing their arm.
Perfect execution of the hit and run, however, by Bergeron. He just slaps the ball the other way. Serrano is going on the pitch. Bergeron aboard with a single now. Runners at first and second, none away, and the shortstop Joe Lewis stepping into the box.
So the Glaciers have something happening here. So we see Nokuff's pitch. That might have been the split finger fastball that he's been advertised as having. Had a little bit of movement on it, but good velocity
and a nice,
down at the knees.
Nice cut from Bergeron, who just stuck with that one, even though it was tailing away from him. Lewis showing bunt, pulls back, and it's ball one.
No big surprise there, I don't think. Maybe Dick Phillips looking just to play a little bump and run baseball here just to tie up this game.
Lewis grounded out to shortstop in his one at bat, struggling at the plate this season, showing bunt again. And one of the cardinal sins of bunting is Lewis tried to lay down a high pitch. He was lucky just to get it on the ground. Often you'll see a high pitch like that. A batter will try and bunt it and end up popping out, which is about the worst thing you can do in a bunting situation.
So Lewis trying to get both runners into scoring position here to get up the top half of the order.
Count even at 1-1. Hokoff giving up consecutive singles. Here's a snap throw down to second. Back in plenty of time is Nestor Serrano, the third baseman.
And of course we saw Angelo Lieber charging hard on the play. Looking maybe to get Serrano at third should the bunt come straight at him.
Lewis will be forced to swing away now with 2 strikes on him.
Well, maybe, maybe not. Maybe Dick Phillips will wave the bunt off. Or maybe not.
Lewis fouling it off. We see the infield playing shallow at the corners, but double play depth up the middle.
The outfield is playing more towards right, even for the right-handed hitting Lewis. Not expecting him to put it down the line. This could be tailor-made. They missed the runner, Bergeron, going down to second base. So Lewis gets the job done in a strange sort of way.
Certainly does. Has the effect of a sacrifice bunt, although that's not what Lewis intended. See, the ball is just chopped up to second base. Mike Farrell fields it. A little bit impatient, though, as he looks like he missed.
Paul Deese certainly doesn't think so. He's out on the field to discuss the call with base umpire David Glass.
Well, Lewis advances the runners, and Richard Ernst will step up now for the Surrey Glaciers. All he needs is a long fly ball now to tie this game up at 1. Sonoma County picking up their run in the 4th inning, the top of the 4th off a sacrifice fly. Surrey looking to do the same here. Ken Hokoff, the starting pitcher, still in the game, showing some signs of tiring here. Ernst hitting .271 for Surrey.
Nothing happening in the Crusher bullpen right now.
Left-handed batter facing the right-handed pitcher. Ernst with just 1 RBI so far this season. There's batting in the cleanups, or in the leadoff spot. You'll expect that. Chase is a bad pitch, however.
Certainly has an opportunity to add to that total here. Runners at second and third, 1 away. Glaciers down by a run.
Hokoff's 0-1, gets away from the catcher Passero. But again, there's not a ton of room back there.
Very short backstop.
And wisely, Serrano sticking to that third base bag leg glue. (1-1). Richard Ernst at the plate facing Hokoff with a runner on third and one away. Fastball outside.
Now Hokoff is having some control problems.
Hokoff struck out Ernst in the first inning. Ernst grounded out to the pitcher in the third. This is the third time in this game these two have met.
But there's that big breaking ball again that he's found a lot of success with. Struck out the slugger Jim Murphy with that pitch.
It's really been his out pitch tonight. And that's a big strike. Count now at 2-2. Ernst won't be swinging as hard now with 2 strikes on him, and that diminishes the possibility of the big fly ball scoring the runner from third.
Dirt got away with it from him. That big breaking ball that comes in low, around the knees or just below the knees. You know, for a hitter like Ernst, who tends to chop the ball a lot, it's not going to be all that easy for Ernst to get a pitch like that and put it up into the air. More likely to just chop it to short, as he does it to second right here.
Ball hit hard to second. And Surrey picks up their first run of the ball game. Ernst lining the ball to second. Mike Farrell unable to field it cleanly. If he had to field that ball cleanly, I couldn't tell if he short hopped it or took it in the air, but if he had to field the ball cleanly, he would have had to play at the plate.
Let's see right here. Sharp line drive right at Mike Farrell. And we can't see whether or not he short hopped it, but we do know that the Sonoma County Crushers are going to be charged with their first error of the evening, as Farrell picks up the error on that one. I don't know, tough play.
Certainly, and take an RBI away from Richard Ernst, although he certainly did his job and helped his team out, getting all over that Hokoff offering.
Scorer might get a call from the clubhouse on that one.
Banuelos into the box now as the count is 1-0. Runners at first and second now.
Banuelos has had success twice against Mr. Hokoff, singling in the first and back in the third inning.
I gotta think that the error is in regards to Ernst getting aboard and not the RBI. I think that the RBI will stand on that play.
I'll have to wait to hear the scorer's decision on that, as Passero goes out to the mound.
In any event, the score is now tied at 1-1 as we're seeing a well-played ball game.
Much in contrast to the one that was played here last night. Got a bit of a pitcher's duel going with Nokuff and Nielsen throwing quite well for both teams, but no one able to get any runs aboard.
2-1 to Banuelos, who tried to drag bunt there and just pulled back at the last second, ended up taking the second strike of the count. Funny time for a drag bunt, Bill.
Runners at first and second, one out. Oh, when you've got Corey Parker following up. Chance to show a bit of power.
Count's full now.
But then again, I was talking to Dick Phillips before the game, and he said that his players have a lot of control over what they do up at the plate. I saw Greg Bergeron try to bunt for a base hit last night in the first inning with Ernst on first. It's not a usual way to start off a ball game.
Big 3-2 pitch, chopped foul along the first base side. Banuelos perfect tonight, 2 for 2, singled in the first, singled in the third.
But what was interesting about Bergeron's bunt in the first inning last night was that it was a sunny evening here at the Stetson Bowl, and the sun coming down in the west is almost directly behind the first base bag. So the third baseman coming into charge as Banuelos draws the walk to put the bases full. Anyway, the third baseman picking up the bunt, throwing to first, is looking directly into the sun. So Bergeron playing a bit of the glare there behind first base, hoping that the third baseman would throw it away.
Well, with the score tied at 1 and 1 away here in the bottom half of the 5th inning, Corey Parker steps up. Big power hitting first baseman for the Surrey Glaciers, who's already batted twice in this game, walked back in the 1st inning, grounded out sharply to first base as he got around on a Hokoff pitch in the 3rd inning. And now up in the 5th with 1 out and the bases juiced. Ball misplayed terribly out there in left field. 1 run scores, 2 runs are gonna score. And Surrey has a 3-1 lead on what's gonna be a double for Corey Parker, but really has to be considered a error by Jeff Richardson out there in left field as he charged the ball and then watched it sail over his head.
Let's take a look at this. Jeff Richardson completely misjudges this shot to left field. And I mean, this ball was on a different planet than Jeff Richardson. But Corey Parker's going to pick up a pair of RBIs on this one. But Corey Parker showing that, once again, the Surrey Glaciers are capable of putting big numbers up on the board on an inning-by-inning basis. But let's take a look at this. The shot to left field, Richardson takes 5 steps in and the ball just sails right over him. Now, there's not much wind here at the Stetson Bowl right now, so I don't think that ball caught a breeze or anything above his head.
Here's the play at the plate on the 2nd run. Richard Ernst sliding in ahead of the throw. The throw was a rather weak one. However, from the relay man, Rosario, bounced in front of catcher Passero. He wasn't able to come up with it. Surrey now with a 3-1 lead on the strength of a 3-run 5th inning. Jim Murphy stepping into the box and still just 1 away.
The Crushers are far from out of this one.
A little bit of rain starting to fall out here at the Stetson Bowl.
If you ever wondered about Murphy's ability to hit the long ball, I'll tell you this, when he was playing in the Carolina League, he once hit a ball that hit the Durham Bull and was good enough to give himself the honors of being the CNN Play of the Day. That was back in 1991.
That's got to be a thrill, hitting that Durham Bull. And Murphy hits it deep. Oh, to the wall. Another run's going to score for Surrey. Maybe 2. No, they're going to hold the runner at 3rd. Murphy with a double. And Surrey now with a 4-1 lead. Murphy just cracking the ball out into left field. Hit the wall on a bounce, and he picks up an RBI.
Let's see Jim Murphy get a hold of this one. Low fastball. That's right in Jim Murphy's sweet spot, right at the knees. Fortunately for Nokuff, it was low enough that Murphy couldn't get under it to lift it over the left field wall. But Murphy tagged that one pretty well.
And now Ricky Scruggs steps in, 0 for 2 tonight. Scruggs hits it hard, but this went right to the second baseman, Mike Farrell. He'll put it in his pocket, and finally there's 2 away here for Hokoff. As Surrey is close to batting around the order here in the 5th inning.
Here's the 9th man they've sent to the plate in this inning in John Turlace.
And again, Hokoff hit hard, but this one was just rifled at Mike Farrell at 2nd. So Turlace comes up, 1 for 2 in the contest tonight, a single back in the 2nd inning, grounded out to second base in the 4th, and again, runners at 2nd and 3rd, 2 away now for Turles.
And we've got a right-hander up in the bullpen for the Sonoma County Crushers.
Turles to Farrell. Farrell goes to first to Lieber for the out. And finally, the nightmare inning for Ken Hokoff is over with. Surrey picks up 4 runs. Excuse me, Surrey picks up 4 runs, and they now lead this contest by a 4-1 score.
So the Surrey Glaciers doing to the Sonoma County Crushers what the Crushers did to them last night in the 2nd.
We'll take a short break with Surrey ahead by a 4-1 margin. You're watching Glaciers Baseball on Rogers Community 4.